The Dragon Queen of Valtorion did not permit visitors. Her Palisa fortress of black stone and molten rivers hovered above the volcanic plains, like a dagger held against the throat of the sky. No mortal approached without trembling, for the queen was older than empires, and it burned entire armadas out of spite. She ruled with claws of iron, wings of fire, and a silence so heavy that even her generals never dared ask her questions, especially not about her birthday. No one in the galaxy even knew dragons had birthdays. No one except a single alien cub. Neri was 6 cycles old, tiny even by Talari, bright-haired, endlessly curious, and absolutely fearless in the way only small children and certain kinds of humans could be. She lived in the refugee quarter under the Dragon Queen's dominion, displaced from a star system devoured by the Void Swarm, and she knew the Queen was lonely. Everyone knew the Queen was terrifying, untouchable, invincible, but Neri had seen something else one night. While sneaking near the palace to chase glowing beetles, she'd seen the Dragon Queen sitting alone on the scorched balcony, staring at the stars with an expression that wasn't hatred. It was sadness. And small Neri, in her simple cub logic, decided someone that lonely needed a birthday, even if she'd never had one. Humans were the reason Neri even knew what a birthday cake was. Human traders had brought celebration culture to the Talari years ago. Balloons, candles, songs, the whole chaotic mess. Neri had watched them celebrate a mechanic's birthday the week prior. Messy frosting, loud singing, people hugging each other and laughing. She thought it was the happiest thing in the universe, so she tried to make one. Tried being the key word. Her cake was a lopsided block of nutrient dough baked with scavenged heater coils. The frosting was actually protein paste dyed with berry juice. She stuck 3 mismatched candles on top because she thought 3 was a lucky number. In short, it looked like something that had been dropped, stepped on, and then optimistically decorated. But to Neri, it was beautiful, and it was for the Dragon Queen. Neri walked straight into the palace. The guards, colossal Drak warriors, armored in obsidian, stepped aside in confusion. No one approached the queen unannounced. No one carried an offering of whatever that wobbling object was. State your purpose, small Talari one rumbled. I'm giving the queen a birthday. The warrior blinked, then stared, then whispered to his partner. What? 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 But no one stopped her, partly because they didn't know what to do. Partly because the idea was so absurd it bypassed protocol entirely, and partly because though no one would admit it, the palace staff had also seen that look of old sadness in their queen's eyes. They let the cub walk into the throne chamber. The Dragon Queen sat coiled upon her throne, wings folded like storm clouds around her. Her scaly shimmered like sun on obsidian. Her eyes burned gold with the memories of centuries she refused to speak of. She was the definition of power. Untouchable. Eternal. So when a furred cub no higher than her talon pads trotted forward holding a sad little cake, the queen did not react the way most expected. She did not roar. She did not order the guards to remove the intruder. She simply stared, caught completely off guard. Neri lifted the cake with both hands. Happy birthday. The silence was so pure it could have shattered. The queen's tail twitched. Ciao. Today's not my birthday. I know. Neri chirped. You never got one. So I made one for you. Something cracked not in the room, but in the queen's composure. An old wall, long fortified, wavered. Why? The queen asked softly. Would you make such a thing for me? Because you looked sad, Neri said simply. Birthdays make people happy. No one in thousands of years had spoken to her like that, not with flattery, whose kindness. The queen lowered her enormous head, eye to eye with the tiny cub. The cake shook in Neri's hands, but she held it steady. What is this object? The queen asked. It's cake. Humans taught us you're supposed to make a wish, then blow out the candles. Blow them out! The queen frowned. I breathe fire. Just don't breathe too much, Neri advised. The queen extended one massive claw and delicately plucked a candle from the cake's surface. The palace guards held their breaths. She leaned forward, a small exhale whisper, compared to what she could unleash sent. The flames flickering out. Neri gasped, impressed. You did it. The queen felt something twist in her chest. Warm. Heavy. Terrifying. A memory surfaced. A much younger her, surrounded by siblings she no longer had. A mother whose face she could barely recall. Laughter from a time before war and coronations and endless loss. Tell me, little one, she said quietly. What is the tradition after extinguishing the flames? You make a wish. A wish, the queen echoed. She had not wished for anything in centuries. Wishes were for the innocent. The young, unbroken. But as she gazed down at the trembling, hopeful cub, offering her a misshapen cake, she found a wish forming unbidden. Let me feel loved again. Just once. She closed her eyes and wished. When she opened her eyes, Neri was waiting expectantly. Well, the cub asked, are you happy now? The Dragon Queen tried to answer, but instead, a soft sound escaped her, a sound no one had ever heard from her before. A gasp, then a shudder, then tears, molten, shimmering, golden tears slid down the queen's obsidian cheeks. The guards froze in horror and awe. The cub simply stepped forward and wrapped her tiny arms around the queen's enormous snout. It's okay, Neri whispered. Birthdays do that. The queen's chest trembled, her wings lowered, her head bowed until it touched the floor beside the cub. Thank you, she breathed. 2 words that felt heavier than the mountains she once split in battle. For what? Neri asked, confused. For reminding me I am still alive. The palace staff would later swear that the air changed that day. The queen smiled an expression that made half her generals faint and the other half question their sanity. She ordered a feast for the refugee quarter. She personally escorted Neri home, carrying the little cub on one massive claw like a precious artifact. From that day forward, the queen celebrated a birthday every year. And every year, no matter the wars, no matter the politics, no matter the galaxy's chaos, one tradition remained. A small tellery growing taller, each cycle would present the queen with a cake. The queen would make a wish. And somewhere deep in her ancient heart, the part that had been frozen for ages would warm again. All because one cub decided the mightiest being in the galaxy deserved a birthday.